Today, we're reviving 12 ghost legends that still haunt Colorado, spirits said to roam the state, even now. Number 1. The Lady in Black. Every year, around the same date, a woman dressed in black appears in the historic cemetery above Central City, Colorado. Locals call her the Lady in Black, and she's said to visit the grave of a man named John Edward Cameron. The two were never confirmed to be married or related, yet she's been spotted laying flowers on his tomb since at least the 1880s, sometimes leaving before anyone can get too close. Her black veil hides her face, and she vanishes just as mysteriously as she arrives. Witnesses over the decades have described her appearance in chilling detail, always in old-fashioned mourning clothes, always silent. Some say she arrives in an old-style carriage or just walks alone from the shadows of the trees. Despite multiple attempts to follow her or speak to her, no one has ever gotten close enough to learn who she really is. The fact that she continues to appear over a century later only deepens the mystery. Cameron's grave hasn't been connected to any tragic love story in local records, but that hasn't stopped the legend. Some believe she might be a ghost from a secret romance, or a woman who never stopped mourning him. The regularity of her visits, almost always around the anniversary of his death, has made it one of the most documented ghost sightings in Colorado history. Even ghost hunters have tried capturing her presence with cameras and thermal gear. Today, people still visit the cemetery each year, hoping to catch a glimpse. While many leave disappointed, others report odd sounds or fleeting shadows among the graves. The Lady in Black never speaks, never stays long, and never returns twice in the same way. Whether she's a grieving spirit or simply a local mystery that took on a life of its own, she's become a lasting symbol of Central City's haunted past. Number 2. Emma Crawford. In the late 1800s, Emma Crawford came to Manitou Springs seeking healing from tuberculosis. She fell in love with the beautiful Red Mountain and asked to be buried at its summit when she passed. In 1891, Emma died at just 19 years old. Her fiancé and 11 others carried her casket up the steep slopes and buried her at the top, fulfilling her final wish. Years later, the railroad planned to build tracks over the mountain. Emma's remains were exhumed and reburied on the side of the mountain, but the ground was unstable. After heavy rains in the 1920s, her coffin reportedly slid down the mountainside, bones and all scattering across the area. Locals say her spirit was disturbed, and sightings of a woman in white walking the trails at night soon followed. Hikers still report seeing Emma's ghost drifting near the summit, or hearing soft footsteps and sobs echoing in the wind. Some describe seeing a pale figure in a Victorian dress watching quietly from the ridge. Others believe her spirit continues to search for the original resting place, unsettled by how her grave was disturbed. Her presence is not seen as threatening, but her story lingers in local memory. To honor her, the town of Manitou Springs now hosts the Emma Crawford Coffin Races each October, where teams race coffins down the streets in her name. What began as a fun tribute still carries an air of mystery, as many believe Emma never truly left Red Mountain. Her spirit, tied to the place she loved, continues to roam the slopes she once called home. Number 3. Stinky the Miner. The Hotel St. Nicholas in Cripple Creek was once a hospital for miners during Colorado's gold rush days. Over time, it transformed into a charming hotel, but not all of its residents checked out. One ghost in particular earned a memorable nickname, Stinky. Guests and staff report smelling a strong odor of unwashed clothing and sweat just moments before seeing a shadowy figure shuffling down the hallway or standing at the foot of their beds. According to local legend, Stinky was once a miner who died in the hospital after a long and difficult illness. He was known for being quiet and kind, but always avoided crowds. Some believe his spirit lingers out of confusion or a refusal to leave the place where he spent his final days. Those who've seen him say he appears as a hunched man in dusty work clothes with a soft moan that drifts down the halls. The most unusual part of the haunting is the scent. Long before any ghostly sighting, a powerful odor, described as a mix of dirt, sweat, and old leather, fills the room. It disappears as quickly as it comes, often followed by the creak of footsteps or the flickering of lights. Some guests have even left early, saying the presence made them too uneasy to stay the night. Despite his nickname, Stinky isn't seen as a frightening ghost. Instead, many consider him a part of the hotel's history, a reminder of the hard lives many miners lived and lost in Cripple Creek. While the hotel embraces its past with tours and historical decor, one part remains beyond explanation: the quiet, lingering miner who still walks its halls long after his final shift ended. Number 4. Phantom Train of Marshall Pass. High in the mountains near Marshall Pass, locals have long told stories of a ghostly train that rumbles through the darkness with no tracks beneath it. In the late 1800s, trains carried passengers and precious silver ore across the dangerous winding path. One night, according to reports, a train derailed during a storm, plunging into the ravine below. The wreck was devastating, and some say the bodies were never recovered. Not long after, strange reports began to surface. Hikers, ranchers, and even railway workers claimed to hear the distant sound of a train whistle echoing through the mountains, followed by the metallic grinding of wheels and a rush of wind. But when they looked, there was no train in sight. Some said they saw a headlamp glowing through the trees, vanishing without a sound. Others swore they heard cries in the wind. One of the most chilling details came from a railway crew in the early 1900s who swore a phantom locomotive passed their camp at night, shaking the ground and leaving behind scorched earth, despite no train being scheduled on the line. Stories like these gave rise to the legend of the Phantom Train of Marshall Pass. Many believe the spirits of the passengers or crew never made peace with their tragic end. Today, Marshall Pass is popular with hikers and history lovers, but the legend hasn't faded. On cold, misty nights, some say you can still hear the ghostly whistle cutting through the silence. Whether it's the lingering energy of a disaster or a tale grown over time, the Phantom Train reminds us that even in the high mountains of Colorado, the past may still roll through. Number 5. Eddie at the Victor Hotel. The Victor Hotel, once a bustling turn-of-the-century building in the gold mining town of Victor, Colorado, holds more than just old charm. It holds a ghost named Eddie. Back in the early 1900s, the hotel served as a makeshift hospital during the harsh winters, and the fourth floor was reserved for the sick and dying. Eddie, a miner recovering from a broken leg, reportedly fell to his death down the elevator shaft while trying to leave his room one stormy night. Guests and staff have long reported strange activity linked to Eddie. The elevator is said to move on its own, stopping on the fourth floor when no one is inside. Footsteps echo in empty hallways, and some guests have awakened to find their blankets tugged or their belongings moved slightly out of place. The fourth floor, where Eddie once stayed, remains the most active and the most avoided. Some say Eddie's spirit lingers out of confusion or frustration, forever trying to escape the place where he met his end. Others believe he simply stayed behind to keep an eye on the hotel he once called home. His presence is never angry, only curious. People describe a sense of being watched, followed by a brief cold breeze and the soft clang of old mining boots on the wooden floors. Despite the chilling stories, Eddie has become part of the Victor Hotel's identity. Visitors often ask for a room on the fourth floor, hoping to catch a glimpse of the friendly ghost miner. Whether it's legend or truth, Eddie's tale reminds us how some spirits don't want to be forgotten, and how even in quiet towns like Victor, the past can come back to greet you in the dead of night. Number 6. Restless Spirits of Cheeseman Park. Beneath the peaceful trees and picnic spots of Cheeseman Park in Denver lies a disturbing past. In the late 1800s, the land was home to Mount Prospect Cemetery, a burial ground that fell into disrepair. When the city decided to turn it into a park, many bodies were supposed to be moved, but hundreds were left behind, their names lost and graves unmarked. Soon after the park was built, strange stories began to spread. People reported ghostly figures drifting between trees, whispering voices at dusk, and an overwhelming feeling of sadness near certain areas. Some say they've seen transparent forms of Victorian era, women strolling through the grass, or heard children crying softly with no one in sight. Dogs have been seen growling at empty corners, refusing to move forward. The most unsettling part of the legend comes from the rushed removal of bodies. Workers hired to dig up and relocate the remains were caught stuffing multiple bones into small mismatched coffins. Some remains were left in open trenches, never properly buried. Locals believe the spirits disturbed by this disrespect still linger, unable to rest. Cheeseman Park today is a quiet escape in the city, but those who know its history walk a little more carefully. The ground may be grassy and green, but under the surface lies the memory of the forgotten. And sometimes the restless spirits still rise to remind us they were once there, and that they deserve more than to be erased beneath a picnic blanket. Number 7. Silver Heels. In the old mining town of Buckskin Joe, Colorado, the story of a woman known only as Silver Heels still echoes through the hills. In the 1860s, she was a beautiful dancer and entertainer who won the hearts of miners by visiting the camps wearing silver-covered shoes, hence her nickname. When a deadly smallpox outbreak struck the town, most people fled, but Silver Heels stayed behind to care for the sick and dying. Her kindness saved lives, but it came at a cost. According to local stories, she caught the illness herself and when the epidemic ended, she was left disfigured. Embarrassed and heartbroken, she disappeared into the mountains, never to be seen again. However, that's not where her story ends. Soon after, miners began reporting sightings of her ghost, always wearing a veil, always watching from a distance. Some say her spirit still wanders the abandoned streets of Buckskin Joe, protecting the area she once loved. She's been spotted near the old cemetery, placing flowers on unmarked graves or peeking through windows of the crumbling buildings. While some claim it's just a legend passed down over the years, others believe her loyalty to the town keeps her from moving on. Though Buckskin Joe is now a ghost town itself, the tale of Silverheels lives on. She's remembered not as a scary figure, but as a tragic and noble one. Her legend is one of sacrifice, love, and lasting devotion, and for many, that's what makes her one of Colorado's most haunting spirits. Number 8. Silver Cliff Cemetery Lights. Tucked beneath the shadow of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, Silver Cliff Cemetery has puzzled visitors for over a century. The town of Silver Cliff once thrived during the silver boom of the 1870s, drawing miners from across the country. Many who met tragic fates in the mines now rest in the quiet cemetery. But what truly sets this place apart are the glowing lights said to drift among the gravestones after dark. The first reports came in the 1880s from night watchmen and grave diggers. They spoke of floating blue or white orbs that hovered a few feet above the ground. The lights would dance, fade, or dart across the cemetery before vanishing. Sometimes they moved in pairs. Others claimed they would appear still, almost as if watching. Soon, even skeptics who came to debunk the story walked away changed. People have returned again and again, trying to explain them. Some say it's a natural phenomenon, perhaps light reflecting off minerals in the soil or rare atmospheric conditions. Others insist it's something more. Locals believe the lights are the spirits of miners who died in cave-ins or accidents, unable to rest. There's also a tale of a young woman who died before her wedding, and some say a lone light belongs to her, waiting still. Today, the lights are a proud piece of Silver Cliff's heritage. Locals treat the cemetery with deep respect, and many say witnessing the orbs is like stepping into another time. Number 9. Maggie of the Colorado Grande. In the gold rush town of Cripple Creek, the Colorado Grande Casino once stood as a grand hotel and bustling saloon. It's here that many believe the spirit of a woman named Maggie still lingers. Dressed in early 1900s finery, Maggie is often seen in the old dining area, drifting between tables with an air of calm and elegance. Some say she was a performer at the hotel, singing to miners who came in from long days in the hills. Casino workers and guests have reported hearing Maggie's soft humming late at night, even when the room is empty. Her perfume, floral and sweet, sometimes lingers in the air just after she appears. A few employees have even said they've seen her sitting at the bar only for her to vanish when approached. She never causes harm, but her presence always comes with a quiet chill. Strangely, Maggie isn't alone. A ghostly man in work clothes is often spotted nearby, usually seen in the basement or walking past doors. Some believe he's a miner who knew Maggie in life, perhaps a lost love or someone who died in one of the area's many mining accidents. When both spirits are active, lights flicker, machines act oddly, and cold drafts move through the rooms without warning. To this day, Maggie is considered the friendly ghost of Cripple Creek. Many visitors come hoping for a glimpse or to hear her song. Staff speak of her with respect, often leaving the lights on in certain rooms out of tradition. While the hotel now buzzes with the sounds of slot machines beneath it all, the spirit of Maggie still sings softly through the night. Number 10. Haunted Gold Camp Road Tunnels. Just west of Colorado Springs lies Gold Camp Road, a scenic route through the mountains that once served as a railroad line. Today, the route is famous not for its views, but for the chilling tunnels carved through rock. Locals speak of strange whispers, disembodied cries, and unseen hands pushing on parked cars. Most of the activity centers around Tunnel Number 3, the one many call cursed. According to legend, Tunnel Number 3 partially collapsed in the early 1900s, trapping and killing several school children and their driver. While historical records are hazy, the story has persisted for decades. Teens who visit the site report handprints on foggy windows, sudden headaches, or feelings of dread when passing through the tunnel. Some even hear scratching on the roof of their cars or laughter in the distance. Paranormal investigators have come to the site with tools in hand, hoping to catch evidence. Some claim to have recorded ghostly voices calling for help. Others have captured flickering orbs or spikes in electromagnetic readings. The deeper you walk into the tunnel, they say, the colder and more oppressive it becomes, as if something doesn't want you there. Despite its haunted past, Gold Camp Road remains a favorite spot for thrill seekers and ghost hunters. Signs warn of danger, and the road is often closed during winter, adding to its eerie vibe. But every year, visitors return, hoping to hear the whispers for themselves or feel the ghostly presence of those who may never have made it out. Number 11. Annabelle Stark of St. Elmo. In the nearly forgotten ghost town of St. Elmo, Colorado, one name still lingers in the mountain air: Annabelle Stark. Once a bustling mining town, St. Elmo slowly emptied out as the silver boom faded. But Annabelle, the daughter of town founders Anton and Anna Stark, never left. She lived her entire life in the remote town, growing more isolated and reclusive as the years passed. Annabelle was known for wandering the dusty streets dressed in black, rarely speaking to outsiders. As the town emptied and buildings fell into disrepair, she remained behind, alone in the decaying Stark family hotel. Locals whispered that she had been driven mad by loneliness and sorrow. Her death in 1960 was quiet, with no family left to bury her nearby. But soon after, visitors began to report strange sights and sounds. Tourists claim to see a pale woman watching from the windows of the old hotel. Some say doors open and slam on their own, and others hear footsteps echoing through the abandoned halls. When people enter her former room, they sometimes feel an icy chill or a heavy sense of being watched. Her spirit, they say, seems both sad and protective, as if still keeping watch over the last place she called home. Today, the ghost town of St. Elmo stands preserved as a historic site, with the old general store still open to visitors. But even on the sunniest days, Annabelle's presence is felt. Locals believe she never meant to frighten anyone. She simply never wanted to leave. In a town frozen in time, her lonely spirit continues to wander, forever tied to the mountains she once called home. Number 12. Ghosts of the Stanley Hotel. Nestled high in the Rocky Mountains, the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park is as famous for its beauty as it is for its ghosts. Built in 1909 by F.O. Stanley, the hotel was meant to bring elegance to the wilds of Colorado. But from its earliest days, strange happenings were reported. Lights flickering, phantom laughter, and pianos playing with no one near. Over time, it became one of the most famously haunted places in America. Among the most well-known spirits is Flora Stanley, the founder's wife, who still plays her antique piano in the music room. Guests have reported hearing soft melodies drifting through the air late at night. Others have seen a man in a top hat believed to be F.O. himself, appearing near the grand staircase or in the billiard room. The fourth floor is known for ghostly children running and playing in the halls. Room 217 holds special fame. It's the very room where author Stephen King stayed in 1974 and was inspired to write The Shining. Since then, countless guests have reported mysterious occurrences: luggage unpacking itself, lights turning off and on, and whispers in the dark. Though chilling, most visitors say the spirits don't seem evil, just active and very much at home. Today, the Stanley Hotel embraces its eerie reputation. Ghost tours are held nightly, and guests often book rooms hoping for a spectral encounter. While it's now a luxury destination, many believe the past still lingers in its halls. The spirits of the Stanley don't hide in the shadows. They welcome you, quietly reminding you that history is never truly gone. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.